have had a great season. Remember the time we were watching Francesa and he was setting up a U.S. Open? He's like, oh, Medina, great track. Like, what does he know about that? Someone just, like, come on, really? You're going to break down Jeff Hafley for me, Colin Cowherd? Anyway, there's a lot of names. It just happened this morning. Sean McDermott out. It's the first time in my career, and I'm thinking yours, unless you want to consider when Marv Levy retired, that no offense, by the way, I didn't mean that as a shot, that like the Bills' job would be considered a great job. Because it never was like that.
Right.
All the years post-Wade, post-Wade, like just when has it ever been a coveted job? Is it? I mean, okay.
I mean, I think it almost has to be with. It's not might not be perfect. It depends on what you might think about how this all went down, or whether you think, but somebody always gets fired for you to have a shot at a job. So you can only get so far into the weeds worrying about the politics of it. But, you want to have your eyes open to that, I think. But, and the cap maybe isn't great in the last few drafts. There's not a bunch of stars all over the roster, but you do have Allen. So if you're an offensive-minded coach, then, you should be able to make some bones with him as your guy. And then that's the most appealing thing about it, I think, easily, is Allen. I don't know that the rest of it is super appealing, cap-wise, roster-wise. We've heard a lot. And you're hearing more today from people that are surprised about this being the move they made about the roster and just how not loaded with talent it is. So, there is that to be considered.
I mean, it's a coaching job, not a GM job or hire, but you're coming in under Beane. You're coming in under Allen, I think. I think you kind of work for him. Depending on who it is, we'll see. Day zero. 803-0550. Here's Matt with us. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
So I was shocked this morning and pretty disappointed when McDermott was fired, and what even made me more disappointed was Beane staying on. I mean, at what point do we have to really clean house with the decisions he's made, the way he talks about us fans, talking about fantasy football, going on Pat McAfee, talking about how great he is, criticizing your colleague Jeremy for the receiver stuff? Like, at what point do we really accept that McDermott was hamstrung by the roster being built for him?
At what point? I mean, it's for the annals. I want to say in Beane's defense, that was 9 months ago. And it's not like there's been a steady drumbeat of Brandon Beane ripping fans or boasting or anything. Like there was a phase, and then it was the season, and there has been none of it. McDermott, when, it's a while ago, but he had I was involved in one of them. Like, he had his battles that he tried to, kind of boss you around, and he may be mellowed, but I don't want to assume that the Beane is like too obstinate to be able to function here. But I do think the caller is going to be like a lot of callers right now, a lot of fans right now, which is like, what makes you different than McDermott? What did you do that was better or even the same as McDermott over these? What did you accomplish? I think Beane has it tough. I think he's got a couple of years to win, but I think it's going to be loud. I think I'm not going to, I haven't been ever already. Like, I'm not going to completely just judge him by that one episode because it was somewhat out of character at the draft with us in the morning. But it happened, and we said throughout the season, like, people would refer to it all the time.
Yep.
And, there are lots of fans who just don't think he's done that good of a job. So now he gets to do it without Sean. And coming out sort of the victor, if you will, in this whatever struggle it was. And I think McDermott was somebody who went from being criticized after these playoff losses. How good is he really? What does he have to do with the offense? All these different points to a martyr.
Yeah. Yeah, even the and that could be the same people. Like, some of the same people could feel that way. You've been after McDermott since 13 seconds, say, right? And intermittently calling us to make the point how they're never going to win. And you think about Nick Costa saying 5 years, same quarterback, same coach, all the different things you've heard that would be in the McDermott is going to be a problem column. But as this year went on, maybe starting with Beane calling, doing that hit with our morning show, and from there just seeing how the roster was handled, even to Darius Slay late in the year and Brandon Cooks being claimed, and all of it might have gotten you to like, maybe I've been targeting the wrong guy. Now, if you were even starting to think that, he becomes a sympathetic figure in this, and Beane is the implement of his removal. And so there's even more heat on Brandon Beane. I'm sure he'll tell you he welcomes it because, there's high stakes and all that. But I think what Beane did last spring sort of elevated his status as a target of ire, and now I think it's going to be even higher. So go win. Hire the coach and show us how you're going to make this better.
Gary's next. Hi, Gary.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
All right. Thank you.
I'm stunned. I really am. I would have fired Beane over McDermott. McDermott set the culture. He brought us out of the 17-year drought. And look at his winning percentage. Andy Reid didn't win a lot for many years. Billy. Now look at him. I believe McDermott would have figured it out.
Thanks, Gary. You're tough to hear, but yeah, he won a lot of games, 98-50. Matt's next. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. I was calling because, number one, I appreciate everything, like the last caller just said, appreciate everything Sean McDermott did. Definitely going to miss him. I just don't understand when you look at the Ingram situation, signing 2 suspended players. I know he said he didn't know they were suspended when he signed them, but still.
One of them.
Samuel Palmer contracts, at not getting guys at the trade deadline. You keep Beane fine, but why is he getting a promotion today on top of it? I strongly think it was the wrong decision to, let go of McDermott and keep Beane. But the fact that on top of it, he's going to get a promotion, that doesn't sit well with me. Thanks.
I think the promotion is more just on paper, like it is one, but I'm not taking that too literally or seriously. I mean, since this all started, it's Bulldog's voice in my head, like that McDermott is actually the guy in charge.
Right.
And so if there's any reality there that there might have been, when you make this change, you just want to make it that much clearer that Beane is the one who's going to drive this. So maybe it's a promotion, it's a different title, maybe it's more money. I don't know. It's all kind of the same thing.
I think it might be in part to publicly say, from Terry Pagula's standpoint, like, I'm not doing this. I did this. I made the moves, but these people are going to do this. He's the president of football operations. He's in charge. I'm just here to sign checks. Maybe because his reputation is not the best when it comes to hiring and firing people for his sports teams. I mean, he hasn't had to do much of it with the Bills. Really, the hiring he did was this one. Rex was first, but he struck gold here, or at least silver. I mean, I don't know, gold maybe is the Super Bowl, and they didn't get there. But on the hockey side of things, they had been spinning their wheels for a decade and a half, hiring and firing people. So I could see them wanting to, as an organization, prop Beane up with more titles to give you some comfort, like at least a football guy is going to be in charge of this.
Does any part of you think the Sabres are relevant into the calculus of this move? Last year, other conversations we've had about McDermott after playoff losses, the Sabres are so far gone, their seasons are over. Like, does he want to just go rudderless on both teams? Now he's got a Sabres team that's kind of rolling. Down 2-1 today, by the way, in the third, but right in the game. Anyway, got a Sabres team that's sort of out of the woods. And is it at all relevant to you that this is the reality?
I don't think I'm ready to connect them. No.
I can't.
But it is notable. Like, if this were to go badly, and the Sabres continue to go, they have the year that it looks like we're at least hoping at this point they can have, where it's just sort of they capture everyone's imagination, and who knows, maybe they finish second or third in the division if they keep winning, 10 out of every 13 games or however kind of streak they've been going on.
Let's go.
And then the Bills thing, like they've changed spot. Now the Bills are in the forest lost, and the Sabres are out here, like, eating sushi and enjoying, the sunlight for a change.
Look over there.
Right?
Everyone, I don't know. It really shouldn't work like that, but I wonder if it does. Here's Patrick next. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
First and foremost, I think the raw fact is that Josh Allen is the franchise. Not sure if he has been contacted to make any assessment of today's decision on Coach McDermott, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, not only with Josh and his reaction, how his reaction impacts the team, but also the reaction of the other players on the team. Secondly, my decision would have been to replace the general manager, keep Coach McDermott. Two statistics that I think jump out. One goes back to last year. The game against the Rams, Buffalo lost 44-42. If you score 42 points in an NFL game, you should be winning that game. Second statistic. Last year, Josh Allen, 14 sacks during the regular season. This year, I believe it was 40 or 41. What does that tell you about the nature of where the general manager should have been able to make assessments of players available to replace those that were injured or not performing?
Why can't that be coaching? Why can't either of those stats be attributed to coaching?
Why?
Yeah, you're talking about 44 points allowed to the Rams. I mean,
let's talk about offensive line coach, okay? And from what I understand, he has, quote, retired.
yeah, they had a good one that people thought was good, and then he's retiring. Right.
Yeah. Well, the coaching of the offensive line, evidently, as good as it may have been, wasn't good enough. And maybe that was due to the general manager not being able to get the personnel in.
But
there.
they had good personnel, Patrick. It's the same personnel as last year up front.
Then
It just
why
seems
wasn't it performing? Why wasn't it performing?
Well, you're trying to attribute it to the GM, and I'm just saying it's just as reasonable, if not more so, to attribute it to coaching, because isn't this a coaching issue? How is it that they give up you pick out one game from last year and it's 44 points allowed? That's the GM? I mean, they won 14 games. So I don't know. I just don't understand really why that would be one thing and not the other necessarily. Thanks for your call. Eric Wood at 4, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.